Hey everybody, it's Jess, and before I get into today's video real quick, I just want to remind you guys that I've got a Zazzle store, and through the 12th of this month, all proceeds from the sale of items in my store are going to go to Gifts for Strangers to buy gifts for kids and the homeless. And so at the end of the video, I will link you to my Gifts for Strangers video if you missed that, so you can hear all about what that is. And of course, the link for my Zazzle store will be in the description box below. So go check it out and help out some homeless people stay warm and comfy this winter. So I apologize for kind of the weird angle, but I am needing you guys to see all of me for this video. I am doing just kind of a basic what to do if somebody is having a seizure video today. So I'm going to be laying down and demonstrating some things. So we're kind of at a funny angle today, but it's going to be educational. And true fact, 1 in 10 people in their lifetime are going to have a seizure, which makes it extremely likely that you will witness somebody having a seizure at some point. And so it's important that really everyone should know what to do in that situation. And I haven't been first aid and CPR certified in quite a while. I need to actually get that renewed. So I don't know if it's changed since I was last taking a class, but when I was working on that, they didn't teach what to do if you see somebody having a seizure. And so hopefully that has changed now, and that is part of, basic first aid and CPR training. I really hope that's a thing, and if it's not, it needs to be. So, first of all, just a couple of quick myths about seizures. Probably the most common one is people think that somebody having a seizure is gonna swallow their tongue, and so they need to wedge something in their mouth for them to bite on. And that's not the case for a couple reasons. Partly, it's almost impossible for a person to swallow their tongue. It's just very, 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 very rare that a person would even physically be able to do it if they were trying to. And secondly, somebody having a really severe seizure, their jaw is going to be clenched to the point where their mouth is going to be closed pretty much. And so in that case, they're not going to be able to swallow their tongue. And also trying to pry somebody's mouth open to wedge something in between their teeth is very dangerous. You could hurt them. You could, break their teeth, potentially break their jaw, cause other injuries. You could get bitten, and so it's just an extremely dangerous thing to do. And so just don't do that. There's more important things that you need to be focusing on than worrying about something that would be a 1 in a billion chance of happening. So throw the whole swallowing the tongue thing out the window. And another one that I'm going to say this, and you guys are going to be like, who really thinks that? But some people in some cultures and stuff actually think that someone who has seizures is possessed. They don't understand that it's a seizure and it's an actual medical thing. They think they're possessed. And I was literally just last week, I think, watching one of those true hospital stories where they like are talking to like actual physicians and talking about some of their, you know, cases that they've seen. And this man brought his wife or girlfriend or somebody into the emergency room, and the doctor comes in and is like, so what's going on? And the guy goes, well, she's possessed. And as they're, you know, going through things, she starts to have a seizure, and the doctor's like, okay, she's having seizures, and, you know, had to like sit down and educate them about seizures and what it is, and they found the cause and got her treatment and everything. But so yeah, in some places, in some cultures, you know, people really do think that. So that's, you know, a stigma that needs to be addressed as well. It's, you know, there's a medical reason for it. So on with the show, kind of some do's and do nots. First of all, seizures can take many different forms. The one people most commonly think of is what you always see on TV or in movies, like the full grand mal where somebody just laid out and just like flailing around and stuff. And that's actually the kind of seizure that I have. But they can range from something as minor as like somebody just staring off into space, just for a little while. I actually have a friend who had that type of seizure when he was a kid and outgrew it. But you can also have like, you know, maybe just one limb is flailing for no apparent reason. You can't figure out why. They can be as small as like you just smell something weird or you have a funky taste in your mouth. Like, so I don't have time in this video to get into all of that. But you know, definitely research some more about that. I will have links in the description for some great websites to learn more about seizures and different types and causes and all that good stuff. But so we'll just go on the premise of you're witnessing somebody having a grand mal seizure, because that is going to be the most severe form that you'll ever witness. Oh, hi, Boots. Hello, kitten. Hi. Hi, kitten. I'm sitting in front of the fireplace, so he might come join me to get toasty. I'm actually sitting on Cosmo's bed. So we'll go with the premise that you witness somebody having a full grand mal seizure. You know, you might see him like just fall over, lay out, start flailing around. So I'm gonna just lay down. So you come across me, I'm having a seizure, and I'm on my back. Okay, and I'm flailing and jerking and all this stuff. And the first thing that you're gonna want to do if you come across somebody having a seizure is get them onto their side, because if they vomit mid-seizure, which is fairly common, if they're on their back, then they're just going to end up inhaling that vomit and could potentially die from that. Okay, so first thing, even before you call 911, get that person on their side. If you're not alone, you can tell someone else to call 911. But if you're by yourself, get them on their side. Get something soft under their head, a pillow, a blanket, a jacket, whatever you have on hand to cushion their head so that they don't end up like banging their head on something, on the floor, whatever. In a pinch, you can even just lay their head in your lap. If that's all you got to work with, you just go with it. Next is you want to remove anything you possibly can that the person could injure themselves on. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but there's this table right here. So if you came across me seizing right here, get this table out of the way. Over on this side, you can see this wall right here. Obviously, you can't move the wall, but my legs are right there, and I can end up like whacking my legs and potentially breaking something. So you can, again, stick something soft in between me and the wall, a blanket, a pillow, your body, whatever. So just cushion them so that they can't injure themselves. The next thing you want to do, again, if you're alone, call 911. If you don't know the person and you don't know if this could be potentially a first seizure or anything like that, or if you do know the person and it is the first time they've ever had a seizure, definitely call 911. In my particular case, like if I was home with my roommates and I started having a seizure, they wouldn't necessarily need to call 911 right away because I have a known history of them. If I were to say, like fall and say, you know, hit my head on the way down or land in a funny position, you know, or maybe they see like, oh, her leg's not supposed to bend that way, like maybe I broke my leg or something. Obviously then in those situations, yes, call 911 because they're going to need to get checked out if they have potentially hurt themselves. And you always want to call 911 if a seizure doesn't stop within about 2 minutes or so. A lot of places you'll see they say, oh, if a seizure doesn't stop in 5 minutes, that's when you call. But what if, especially like if you're out in a rural area and it might take an ambulance a while to get to you, definitely call sooner rather than later. If there's the potential to have maybe a longer than ideal response time from EMTs, call sooner, because if a seizure goes on for a prolonged period of time, it can cause extensive brain damage or it can be fatal. So definitely if it's not stopping, call. It's better to be safe than sorry. One thing you do not want to do when somebody is having a seizure, besides like try to jam something in their mouth, is you don't want to try to hold the person down. You just want to cushion them. But after that, just let them go. Because again, if you're trying to hold somebody down, you're either going to hurt them or hurt yourself. I mean, if somebody's really going and you're like trying to hold them down, you might get punched in the face, or any number of things could happen. So it's better to, keep yourself out of harm's way and don't do anything that could potentially hurt the person having the seizure. And then once a seizure is over, it will take the person a little bit of time to kind of come back. And what I've been told about when I've had seizures is like after, the flailing and stuff stops, I'm still like out of it, and I might just be kind of like I'm not like actively seizing anymore, but I'm not back to planet Earth either. And after one of them, my boyfriend at the time was trying to talk to me, and then when the EMTs came, they were like trying to ask me questions and stuff, and I was just speaking complete gibberish. Like nobody could understand what I was saying. Like it's one of those times where it's like, oh, I wish, like somehow it could have been recorded, because like I really want to know what was coming out of my mouth. But nobody could understand what I was saying. So that is actually normal. It's called the post-ictal phase of a seizure. And it especially happens with grand mal seizures, where the person is just going to be out of it. And it could be for just a minute or two. It could be for a long period of time. I'm in the phase where like I'm not back to earth and I'm not making sense for like just a couple minutes, according to what I've been told. But even after that, I have long periods where I'll be acting normal and I can sit and have a conversation with somebody and I can like get up and do things, but I won't remember it. So even if, you know, you see a person having a seizure, or, you know, you don't necessarily want to leave them alone. Like, and my roommates know, my close friends know, and it's even in my chart and records at all of my doctor's offices that if I have a seizure while I'm there, I am not to be left alone for a period of 24 hours. So like if I were to have a seizure while I was in the hospital, even if they were planning on discharging me that day, they know that nope, she can't go home, she can't be left alone. And yeah, they know that they have to keep me because I could potentially hurt myself. Like, heaven forbid if I were to drive, I could wreak all kinds of havoc and I wouldn't even know what I was doing. And, you know, I have enough common sense to, you know, like when I first started having seizures, I was actually very scared to drive. Some people are just like, oh, whatever, I'll drive anyway. For whatever reason, you know, maybe they, you know, they really need to, or they think it's not going to be a problem. With me, it was like, no, I refused. I would not drive. I was terrified of hurting or killing somebody if I had a seizure while I was driving. And eventually it, you know, I got to about 3 years or so without having a seizure. And that's when, excuse me, that's when I started driving on a more regular basis and got my car that I have now. And so, you know, just use common sense. And so, yeah, that's kind of, you know, the basic what to do when you see somebody having a seizure. Again, I will have those links in the description box below, letting you know, giving you some resources to go and check out, to learn about this more extensively, learn about different types of seizures and what those might look like so that you'll recognize them if you see it and you know what to do. But basically, you know, stay safe, help the person having a seizure stay safe and injury-free if at all possible. And, you know, just, it's a very scary thing to see, but do your best to try to stay calm, and educating yourself about seizures and what to do and all that stuff will help you to stay calm and keep your cool, and, you know, potentially be able to speak to a 911 dispatcher in a calm fashion so that they can help you as efficiently as possible to get help to the person who is seizing. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any further questions for me, leave it in the comments below. I will definitely answer them. Click on I will link over here somewhere to my story about how and why I started having seizures and more of my experiences with all that. And then also I will have the video for the Gifts for Strangers and telling you all about what's going on there. So yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you found this information helpful. You know, also leave a comment if you have had a seizure or if you've witnessed somebody having a seizure. The more experiences that get shared out there, the more it could, you know, help somebody down the road to be able to respond appropriately. So I know this was kind of a longish video, but really important information, I think, to pass on. And so I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you never have a seizure, and I hope you never have to witness somebody having a seizure, but having that knowledge in your brain could potentially save somebody's life someday. So check out the links below, and I will see you guys later. Bye!